Puny God. I'm Phil.
I'm Chuck.
We're jumping into another top 10 today.
Yes.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 MCU moments.
As we see them.
As we see them.
And you may not agree with this. There's a lot of them.
Here's the thing. When we were compiling this list, we came up with 20.
And then we just stopped writing them down.
And we stopped writing them down because there's just so many. So we tried to narrow them down, and we come up with what we think is the top 10. Who knows?
Then you'll see if you agree.
We'll see if you agree. We're going to start out cheating. We're going to combine a couple. And that is because at number 10, we've got the Hulk beating the living bejesus out of
the
Loki.
brothers.
Yes. Well, Loki and Thor.
Yeah.
And he does so in the exact same manner. And then, walks away from Loki saying, Puny God. But later on, of course, in Ragnarok, he does the exact same thing to Thor, which causes Loki to jump out of his seat and say, that's how it feels.
Yes, I'm just a big fan of the sport.
Just a big fan of the sport. But really what it is just, it's a cool moment.
It is.
It's one of those, when he first grabs Loki and starts pounding him into the dirt, it's a shocking moment. You don't see it coming the first time you see it, and it's just
But you
fun.
love it because Loki's been a pain in the butt.
It's so much fun.
Movies at that point.
Yeah, for a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And he's still a pain in the butt. Are you kidding me? Even moving on to the newer stuff where he's the hero as opposed to a villain, he's still a pain in the butt. He's got a mischief.
He's Loki.
That's what he's going to do.
That's what he does.
Let's move on from that, but not too far. We're going to stick with the Hulk.
We are.
And that is in that exact same movie.
It is.
We learn Mark Ruffalo's or Bruce Banner's secret to becoming the Hulk. Chuck, what you got?
He's always angry.
He's always angry.
I'm always angry.
That's my secret, Cap.
And then he goes and proceeds to smash a Chitauri, big old space
He
worm.
does. One shot, one
Boom.
punch, boom,
Yeah.
and takes him over.
Yeah.
Which, of course, leads to the Avengers
Turns the
actually
tide.
coming
Yeah.
together and Cap saying the iconic line, Hulk,
Smash.
smash.
Yep.
It's a really cool moment. That entire first Avengers movie is just loads of fun.
It's groundbreaking. It was great.
It was.
Yep.
It was the first big team up. It was really cool. All right, let's move on from that. We're going to move away from the big screen onto the small screen now.
Yeah.
And that is the first instance at number 8. We've got the first instance of Sam Wilson acknowledging that he is
Captain America.
Captain America.
It took a minute for him to do it.
It really did. Through that whole series, we see his journey from not really wanting to be Captain America to, working on this case and realizing, you know what? Steve Rogers was right about something, and that was his selection as
Absolutely
Captain America.
Steve passed the shield on to him at the end of Endgame.
Yep.
It was the right choice, and it takes Sam a while to realize it was the right choice. But that moment when he actually acknowledges and says with confidence, I'm Captain America, it was very powerful.
Yeah,
Who
are you? I'm Captain America.
And it was great.
And boom, and that's it. And he just is Captain America from that point on. And it's so cool to see. I can't wait to see Captain America 4.
Me either.
I mean, whatever it is, it's Sam Wilson as Captain America.
It's
going to be amazing.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to number 7. It's a little bit different from all the other ones on the list because it was not actually written by a Marvel writer.
No.
It's a really heartwarming story. At number 7, we have the line, he's a friend from work.
Friend from work.
From Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And the story behind it is a Make-A-Wish kid was visiting the set and said it'd be really funny if Thor said when he saw Hulk, that's a friend from work.
Yeah. And it's hilarious. When you see it.
It's one of the best lines in the movie.
When you watch Ragnarok, I mean, it's great. And it really just goes with Taika Waititi's vibe of the movie.
Yep.
It fits seamlessly, and it's hilarious. It's a great moment.
It really is such a great moment. And delivered perfectly by
Chris
Hemsworth. Yeah, he just does such a great job of it. And it fits the moments. It's just a really great moment.
It does.
Let's move on from that. We've got a really big moment at number 6, and it's one that the fans wanted.
Everyone wanted to see.
Everyone wanted to see it.
The Spider-Man meme.
Bingo. And we actually got it.
Yep. It's the first thing,
No
if
Way
you
Home.
watch the interview from Andrew Garfield, it's out there on the interwebs.
It's the first thing you shot.
He says as soon as Toby gets on set, he goes, okay, we're going to shoot the Spider-Man meme. I mean, that's just awesome. I love the fact that they actually did it. And you finally get to see it in the movie.
Yep.
It's just so much fun, and it just adds to the charm of that film. I love it.
Well, and it's Marvel saying, you know what? We hear you. We know what you want.
Here you go.
Here it is. And that whole movie is really that.
And it's great.
Yeah, and it's one of the best MCU movies ever. Let's move on to number 5. Huge moment.
Yes.
Teased several times over many, many years. But in Endgame, we finally see it come to fruition. And that is, of course, at number 5, we've got Captain America saying,
Avengers Assemble.
Finally.
Takes forever.
And that kicks off this huge battle with every Avenger that is known at the time.
Which, of course, leading up to it, you have the first thing you hear Sam saying, on your left.
Hey, oh my goodness!
As they're all coming in, which is fantastic, right?
Spine-chilling moment.
I'm getting chills thinking about it now. Just leading everyone in. And of course, you get all the little snippets with their characters and their foils. You know, with Dr. Strange saying, "Oh, blah blah blah," coming. Wong's like, "Isn't this enough?
You wanted more?"
You know,
it's so great.
It's great, and it's you finally
Dude, Howard
see,
the Duck is in that scene. Like
you finally
got everybody.
see Avengers Assemble, and it was a long time coming. It was very satisfying.
Such a great scene. All right, so let's move on to number 4, and number 4 is a bit of a downer.
It is, but all good movie series have the bad guys win at some point to end a movie, and MCU is no different. And at the end of Avengers Infinity War, you have Thor goes and gets, his new weapon after Mjolnir was destroyed. He goes Stormbreaker, and he just comes in and kicks wholesale butt in the battle, just electrifying everybody. Even Ruffalo taunts everyone, you're all screwed now. And he comes in and Thanos is beating people, and then Thor just comes on the scene and whoops his butt.
Yeah.
Gets him in the chest, and then Thanos goes, should have gone for the head. Snap, and then wins.
That's it. We'll put it this way. The snap is number 4 on this list, which means there are some pretty big moments coming.
There are.
What about when Steve Rogers gave Sam the shield?
Again.
Dude, we covered that already.
We did. We covered this.
Hey, get
out of here.
Repeat it.
Let's go ahead and get into our top 3. At number 3, I'm not going to do it because so as we were preparing this episode, I kept singing this particular song by an Australian band called AC/DC.
God, don't do that.
And Chuck didn't care for it. I loved it. But either way, what we're talking about here, Thundercat.
Okay, now you're going to make me do it.
I am.
Na, 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 na.
Thunder. Yeah, so great.
I knew it.
Yeah, well, and that's the best part of that. Basically, what's happening is Thor is overwhelmed by Thanos, and all of a sudden his hammer comes and hits Thanos, but it doesn't go to Thor. It goes to Captain America.
Rogers.
I mean, when that happened in the theater,
I cheered.
I mean, people were like,
yeah,
they were gasping,
so
like,
awesome.
"Holy cow, that happened!"
It was so awesome. And then later in the same battle, when Thor's got Stormbreaker.
Oh yeah, no, give me the little one.
Yeah,
or you
Captain
take
Rogers
the little one.
Storm. Yeah, he's like, no, you take the little one. Yeah, that's so good.
It really is great. But yeah, knowing that Captain America is of course worthy, and we all know he is.
Worthy. I mean, Steve Rogers is like the greatest human.
He's the world's greatest human. That's it. And it's really what all of that is a payoff to an Age of Ultron, where they're all going around trying to pick up Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and Cap budges it a little bit. And it turns out, of course, he can wield it like crazy.
Just like Thor. Yeah.
Just like Thor. Great moment. Just an amazing moment. And believe it or not, we got 2 more better than that.
We do.
Let's go with number 2. And that is the introduction of, frankly, Marvel's biggest character.
Yeah. My favorite character, Marvel's marquee character. Hey, did you ever see that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back? How old is this kid? I didn't
carbon date him. What we're talking about here is the airport scene in Civil War, and it's the introduction of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
man.
Marvel builds this, and we've talked several times, we talked about Marvel, how they built this foundation of this MCU with their characters that weren't their top flight properties, because at the time they didn't own the rights to them, and now they've elevated some of those characters, and we'll get to one in a minute, of into top flight status, but now they finally have their number one character in the movies, and this is our first introduction to the current iteration of Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland.
Yeah, and with Tom Holland doing it, it's just so great. I mean, Tom Holland he's an amazing Peter Parker. He's a wonderful Spider-Man, and he's the guy. I mean, he should be the guy.
Yeah.
But that entire airport scene, you really see everybody go off on each other, and
so good.
It's my favorite scene to watch in all of Marvel.
Well, yeah, because it's a huge turning point of all of Marvel, right? I mean, that's the penultimate of the Civil War, and that shapes the franchise leading into the end of the Phase 3. So, yeah, it was great.
It's totally great. All right, that brings us to number one. And you know what? We're going to cheat again.
Yeah, we are.
Because it's one moment, but it's two moments.
It is. This happens twice.
It does. And the first time it happens is at the very end of the very first MCU movie.
And they rewrote it for it to be this way.
And they certainly did. And that is Tony Stark saying, "I am Iron Man." So he says that at the very beginning, or at the very end of his first Iron Man movie, and that was an improvised line.
Yeah.
He just went, you know what? Yep, I am Iron Man.
And then they play Iron Man by Black Sabbath, which was cool.
And that's great. But that also wraps up the entire arc of the Infinity Saga.
Which they had filmed with a different line. And then Robert Downey Jr. had the idea, I should say I am Iron Man as my last words.
I should say I am Iron Man.
And they reshot it.
Yes.
Because it's beautiful. It's beginning to end, right? A good piece of art brings you all the way around, and that's exactly what that did with his character. It brings you all the way around.
You bet. It absolutely does. And everybody got chills when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
I am Iron Man. Snap.
And you see he's got all the stones.
Oh, just
and Thanos is
huge,
like, oh,
man.
crap, and boom, and he fixes it.
Just huge. And that's our pick for the number one Marvel or MCU moment.
Yep.
With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I would like to remind you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Out there.
Let us know in the comments what you think. Did we get it right? Did we miss some? Let us know. Tell us in the comments. And with that, we will say,
what's on your nerd card?